To kick things off, my name is Jack Burney. I work as an account executive here at Grunt, and I'm going to be taking you through some sort of introductory basics around the Excel connection and also some automation of formatting in charts and some other bits and pieces. This will be sort of aimed at people that are fairly new to Grunt. I do understand, though, that some people on the public demo with me today are already existing Grunt users. If you want to see something specific, I really encourage you to drop me a message in the chat. There's a public and a private chat, so you can just send me a message. Let me know if there's something you would like to look at. If there's any sort of questions that you have about anything that we look at, please also drop me a message. I'll be trying to answer questions if they're relevant to what I'm sort of talking about during the demo today. But there will be time at the end for me to review everything, and if there's something that's maybe not clearly related to what we're looking at today, I can still answer it at the end of the call. But yeah, thanks for joining. We'll get started. One more thing to note is this will be recorded. So if you want to show this to a colleague or you're interested in watching again, that's great. We can pass on a recording to you as well. All right, I'll just check. Yep, chat is clear and good to go. So let's kick things off. So look, I'm just going to sort of run through some basics here, just regarding Grunt. So actually, I might make this full screen because I think that's going to look better. I don't know if you'll still be able to see me, but just while I'm showing you these things, I'll make this full screen. Okay, so Grunt is a team that's made up of people that are industry experts. So those of you on the call, you might come from consulting backgrounds, you might come from finance backgrounds, M&A backgrounds, maybe you work for strategy teams or innovation teams. These are the sorts of clientele that we have, and this is the sort of team or the sort of experience and background that our team is made up of. Most of our team comes from those consulting, finance, corporate strategy backgrounds, and we really understand PowerPoint because all of us have used PowerPoint extensively in our jobs, both previous careers and certainly in our jobs at Grunt. So we really understand, I guess, the shortfalls of PowerPoint. We also really understand the shortfalls of other add-ins. So some of you might be familiar with other add-ins like ThinkCell or Efficient Elements. We've used those tools and we found them lacking, which is why we created Grunt in the first place. So Grunt was created by people that really know PowerPoint, by people that really know PowerPoint add-ins, and wanted to create something better for people that are using PowerPoint. And so far, the results have been really great. We've been able to sort of become the leaders in data visualization, being able to help people clearly and through an automated process show data in PowerPoint from their data sets. We also really pride ourselves on the automation of things. And those are the two sort of focuses of today's presentation: data visualization and automation. But we also really know Microsoft Office. So this is something that that we want to try and leverage all of the tools of Microsoft in terms of compatibility, shareability, collaboration, to bring you the best possible PowerPoint experience. So that's a little bit about us. In terms of today's demo, and you'll have to forgive me, I still haven't quite recovered from a flu that I had last week, and I also just found out the result of the Australia-England World Cup game. So my my voice and probably my overall demeanor is not at its peak right now. But the public demo is for people that are new or novices with Grunt specifically. So you might be a PowerPoint expert, but in terms of your Grunt understanding, your time spent with Grunt, we're aiming this at sort of newer people or people that are maybe just getting started. I will sprinkle in some intermediate and advanced stuff. I'm just going to basically skim through it because we are really short on time today. Unfortunately, I've been time limited by our team, although I'm happy to stay on a little bit longer if people have lots of questions or they want to see stuff. But this is the sort of aim of who today's demo is for. And just to give you a brief rundown of sort of features or what we're trying to achieve. So on the right-hand side there, you'll see connecting slides directly to your data sources, reusing designs using templates, automatic formatting rules, automation of tedious tasks, transforming content into rich visualizations, and guaranteeing consistency. These are the things that we are trying to achieve with Grunt. And like I said before, feedback and response from our current client base has been great, and we're always looking to develop and improve what we're doing. So really exciting things to come, but we already feel like we're streaks ahead in terms of providing a better PowerPoint experience. So first things first, when you're getting started with Grunt, you will install it. Some of you that are already existing Grunt users will already have it installed, and I'm sorry if I'm retreading the same ground, but when you install Grunt, you will see Grunt appear in a tab at the top. So in your home ribbon in PowerPoint, you'll see File, Home, Grunt, and so on. So Grunt, once you click on that tab, will show you a series of options, including, so insert new objects. This is where we create something new. So it could be a template or a visual grid or a chart. I'm just going to exit full screen just in case you weren't able to see. Okay, cool. Yeah, so it looks like you could still see me. I just wanted to make sure that I didn't ramble on for a long period of time without you guys actually being able to see what I was doing. But like I said, so inserting new objects. So this is, adding a template, adding a visual grid, adding a chart, Gantt, agenda. These are some of the sort of superpowers that Grunt gives you access to. That regular PowerPoint doesn't do. Then we've got a data tab, and this is where you manage your data connections. So what is connected, where is it connected, how is it connected, when was it connected, is it up to date? You can see a huge range of information about the live data connection that you have between, say, Excel and Grunt through that data connections tab. Then you've got efficiency tools. This is where you can swap, stack, realign objects on a slide. So instead of tediously manually selecting one thing at a time, you can basically just group a range of objects and shift them and move them and stack them and realign them automatically with a single click. These tools are awesome. They're used by our clients, pretty much every day because it's a much faster way of moving objects around in PowerPoint. And then we've got settings, sharing, and about. I'm not going to go into detail about those right now. But let's move on here and have a look at the first thing that I want to show you, which is Excel connection and automated formatting. So what I'm going to do is show you how to create a chart that's connected to an Excel workbook. So we'll start really basic, but then I'm going to show you some more advanced features for those of you that might already be across this. So I'm just going to open up an Excel sheet, and I realize that I'm sharing my my window here. So I'm going to see if I can share my my whole screen. Can I share screen? This one. There we go. Okay, so I'm now sharing sharing the whole screen, which means that you'll be able to see this Excel file that I've got open here as well. So the first thing that I want to do is create a chart. So I've got some data here, some net sales data. I've just created some dummy data for the purposes of today's presentation, and I've copied it. So I'm just copying my data here, and I'm going to paste it into PowerPoint. Now, a lot of the feedback that we get, and certainly the feedback that we had as PowerPoint users using regular Excel and regular PowerPoint, is that it is incredibly cumbersome to grab data from Excel, get it into PowerPoint, and if you need to make a change to the formatting or you need to make a change to the data, you basically have to redo work. It's really, really cumbersome to have changes made in your Excel or changes made to the formatting in PowerPoint, and have the two correlate. What Grunt does is it creates a live connection so that when your data changes in Excel, the visualization and the formatting automatically update in your PowerPoint. So just to show you an example, I've copied the data. I'm going to choose a chart type. So I've just clicked on chart, select a chart type, drop it in here, and there we go. The data that I selected in Excel is now visualized for me. So Grunt's doing that work. It's just taking the data and making it into a nice looking chart for us here. So I'll just adjust that a bit here. Now, if I wanted to make a change to this data and I was using regular Excel and PowerPoint, I would need to yeah, fiddle around a bit with the number side of things. I'd probably end up recreating the chart actually if I had to do that. With Grunt though, what I can do is just change any number in here. So I've just changed one of my data sets in there. And when I come back to PowerPoint, you'll see that Grunt immediately gives me a notification to say, hey, the data that you have in Excel has been updated, and the chart, the visualization that you have in PowerPoint is ready to be updated along with it. So when I click on that notification, it brings up a floating menu here, and it tells me, hey, there's new data. It was added 1 minute ago. It also shows me where the workbook, so what workbook I've got connected to it, and what address, so the data range in there that it's connected to. Now, these things are really, really critical for our clients, and something that you absolutely can't do with regular Excel and regular PowerPoint or any of the other add-ins that are out there on the market, is be able to immediately understand that your data has been updated, immediately find out where that data is connected to, so what Excel workbook it's connected to, and what data range it's actually showing me. What this means is that our clients can save time by being able to immediately check that Excel data, so they know what's being changed, where it's being changed, and how it's been changed. Otherwise, there's a lot of time spent going back and forth between Excel and PowerPoint, cross-checking if you are, trying to visualize data from Excel into PowerPoint. This is something that we, as Excel and PowerPoint and ThinkCell and Efficient Elements users, wasted a lot of time doing, and it's what our clients previously wasted a lot of time doing, and they're now able to very quickly understand what's been updated, when it was updated, and to update the visualization, all they need to do is a single click update, and you'll see that the chart is updated. So super easy to make the change, but also to see the change. Grunt will tell you immediately. Now, some of the automated formatting side of things. So a lot of our clients also waste a lot of time drawing things like Kaggers, maybe value jumps, those sorts of things. With Grunt, you can just select the chart that you want to update, and you can, for example, add like an axis on the left-hand side here. If I wanted to add maybe a Kagger, I can do that just by selecting the Kagger, and you'll see that automatically adds a Kagger in. The Kagger will also automatically update when I make changes to my chart. So if I go back into Excel here, and I were to make a change to this final number, let's say this is going to be 4 instead of 8, and then save it. Come back into here, Grunt immediately picks up that there's been a change. All I need to do is hit update. And when I hit update, you'll see that this Q4 number will update, but so will our Kagger. So you'll see that our Kagger has automatically updated, as well as this column in the chart that Grunt is creating for us. So it's smart enough to realize, like, okay, not only is the Excel data different, but the additional sort of formatting that I've added to this chart also needs to be updated as well. So our Kagger now reads 0 instead of, I think it was plus 4% before. Another example of this is if I'm using a waterfall chart, for example. So I'll show you this waterfall chart here. It's a cash flow bridge. So we've got cash at the beginning of period, cash at end of period, and then the inputs that are influencing that beginning and end of period number. If I go into my Excel and I say make a change to our cash flow from financing, it's currently at 14. And you can see here that I've got plus minus figures. The plus figures are in sort of this darker blue color, and then the negative figures are in a gray color. Well, if I go into my Excel and I make a change to my cash flow from financing, which was positive 14, and make this, let's say, negative 6, and then save the Excel, come back into PowerPoint, you'll see again, Grunt immediately picks up on the change. It's telling me where it's coming from, what the data range is. And when I hit update, you'll see that the cash flow from financing, instead of having that blue color that we've told Grunt, hey, we want positive numbers to be blue and we want negative numbers to be gray. Well, because this number is turning gray, turning negative, you'll see that Grunt will automatically update the formatting for us, as well as the number and the visualization of the chart. So I've just updated, and you'll see we now have -6, and it's in gray, and all of the sort of visuals on the chart have been updated to reflect the change to our cash flow from financing. So this is another way that our clients are saving a lot of time and a lot of effort. You know, you don't want to have to be manually going through. Let's say it's a deck with 100 slides, or even 20 slides, and you've got 10 or 15 charts on those 20 slides. You know, instead of having to update and manually update all of the numbers, manually update all of the charts, you know, all the numbers in the charts, and manually update all the formatting, with Grunt, all you need to do is worry about the Excel data, change the Excel data, and Grunt does the rest for you. It says, hey, I know what the numbers are supposed to look like. I'll update the numbers and the charts. And I also know that you want negative numbers, in the case of this cash flow bridge, to be gray. So if any number changes to a negative, then it'll automatically be gray. So similar to the CAGR, where you saw the CAGR line go from a positive 4% to a 0, Grunt will just pick up on these things because we've said, hey, we want you to do this. Can you, well, all we need to do is say, hey, can you do this? And then Grunt automates the rest for us. Now, I realize that we're already sort of running out of time, and my apologies for maybe not going quite as quickly as I wanted to. There are a couple more things that I want to show you. So if you're happy to stay on for another 5 minutes, I'll quickly show you those, and then we can jump into some questions if anyone does have any questions for me. The other thing that I wanted to show you was a little bit more advanced than sort of what we've just seen. So I'm just going to get rid of this CAGR line for now, since it's a 0 value. And what I wanted to show you was a tool that we call greedy reading. Greedy reading. Essentially what it does is it Grunt is able to detect when you add additional columns or rows to your Excel file, and it will pull the new data in automatically into your charts or your tables. I suppose the best thing to do is just to show you how it works rather than try and explain it. So with the net sales data, so I created this chart from the net sales data, and I can actually see that just by opening up the Excel connection here. Like I said before, I can target exactly range. So using that range targeter that I just clicked on, Grunt will pull up the Excel and it will pull up the exact range that I have selected. So you can see here that I've got selected from what is it, B12 through to sort of J13 here. That's the range that it's showing me. However, I have additional content, additional columns, I should say, in row or column K. Now, if I was working with a large data set, and a lot of our clients do, they might continually add rows and columns to their Excels. they don't want to have to go back and redo all of that work in PowerPoint every time they add a column or add a row. Now, we've solved for this. This is something that especially our team members that have worked in finance have butted their heads, sort of butted their heads against the wall, for all of the additional manual work that they've had to do previously. And that's why we developed this tool, was to automate the addition of new rows and columns and the visualization of those new rows and columns. So what we do to, I guess, access or use greedy reading is we select the chart that we want to use. And I've probably got a few too many tabs open here because my my PowerPoint is, there we go, cool. Okay, so open up the chart, and then I go to an advanced section. So I'll just show you one more time. Open up the Excel connection, select advanced down the bottom here, and I can select greedy rows and greedy columns. When I do that, Grunt will search for new rows and new columns that are being added to the original the original range in Excel, and it will automatically pull those in. So like I said, like I showed you before, there was new data in column K. Now, when I hit update, Grunt will automatically pull that data in. So update, and you can see there that we have a brand new column of data that has been brought in. So this is, yeah, for anyone that's on the call that's used to having to redo things every time you update with new data in Excel, particularly if you're doing like recurring reports or recurring board presentations where you're doing it weekly, quarterly or monthly, whatever it might be. You don't want to have to redo the Excel and redo the PowerPoint every time. With Grunt, you don't have to do that. You create one PowerPoint, that's your foundation, and then all you're doing is updating the Excel, and Grunt is doing all of the work to do the visuals for you. So it's it's really awesome if you're doing recurring presentations, but it's also very, very useful if you're doing a one-off presentation, but you know that you're going to be updating the data regularly. And to be honest, doing constant updates and reiterating or having those constant updates allows you to better understand where there might be mistakes in the Excel or in the PowerPoint. You don't want to wait until the last minute where you've got a presentation due, it's 2 a.m., you're trying to get it done, and you miss something because you've waited until the last minute to redo the charts or check the data. Grunt will allow you to keep iterating, so that you can see, you get a snapshot as you go, which allows you to pick up on mistakes much more quickly and easily. Now, we're sort of well out of time, but I just wanted to quickly run you through some of the more sort of advanced things that you can do with Grunt. I'm not going to show you in detail, I'm just going to show you some snapshots. For example, you can easily create and maintain complex tables of data using Grunt and visualize them in ways that are, much more appealing than anything that you would do in native PowerPoint or Efficient Elements or ThinkCell, to give a couple of examples of other add-ins. This can be connected to your Excel as well. So the data in here is all connected to Excel, and we've told Grunt to visualize it in a way that that makes it a lot more appealing than just plain data. So to show you an example, Grunt is just taking plain data from Excel, and it is making it look like this. This is something that you can pick up really quickly, half an hour, learn how to use this, connect your data from Excel and turn it from something that's very plain and ordinary into something that is, much more professional in a very short period of time. We also are able to connect financial tables directly to Excel. So instead of copying and pasting out of Excel into PowerPoint, or using PowerPoint tables, Lord forbid you're not using PowerPoint tables, this is a much cleaner, much more professional way to connect your data to your financial table data to PowerPoint from Excel. We also have tools for organizing objects. So if I if I wanted to organize these objects, I can use these efficiency tools up here to basically move them around and stack them and realign them. We also have combination charts. You can do time series. I realize there might be a slight lag as I show you all of these. There's Gantt charts and there's an agenda as well. We didn't have time to go through all of this today, but if you're interested in learning more, then please get in touch with us. So you can basically book a call with us to learn more, whether you're an existing customer or a new customer. Just reach out to us at sales@grunt.pro. Send us an email, let us know who you are and what you'd like to know or what you'd like to see. Like I said, existing customers or people that are brand new to Grunt, yeah, reach out to us through that email, and we can organize to show you more. We also run these demos, these public demos, once per week on Wednesdays at 2 p.m. CET. So our next webinar will be coming up on the 23rd of August, and our team here is presenting. So myself, Ina, Alexander, Gustav, Isabella, and Mats are all running these demos for you, and they'll sort of be aimed at a similar level, but we'll sort of show you some different things each week, particularly if you request things from us. All right, that wraps up the presentation side of things. Sorry we went quite a bit over time, but if anyone does have any questions for me, now is the time to ask. Could be about something that we just looked at. It could be about something unrelated to anything that we just looked at, or maybe there's just something that that you want to know about Grunt, something that you've been struggling with in PowerPoint and you want some help with. So I might just wait 1 minute to see if we get any questions. All good if not. If you think of something after we end today's presentation, like I said, I might just go back to here. Just send us an email at sales@grunt.pro. All right, thanks, Simon. I appreciate it. Hopefully we hear from you soon. And yeah, I'll just double check that I haven't got anything in the private chat. Nope. Okay. All right. Well, it looks like that's it for today. Again, apologies for the sound of my voice and for going over time. But yeah, always enjoy getting to catch up with you online and show you a little bit more about Grunt and who we are and what we like to do. Please get in touch with us. Otherwise, we'll catch you soon. Hopefully next week, Wednesday, the 23rd at 2 p.m. CET. My name's Jack, and it's been a pleasure introducing you to Grunt today. Thanks, guys.